Thank you. For Venice, it says there at the top.
I'd like to call the meeting to order, Leesburg Planning and Zoning Commission. It is Thursday, April 24th, 2025, 4:30. Please stand for the invocation and pledge the flag.
Dear Lord, we ask that you be with us today as we undertake the business of the city of Leesburg. The decisions we make, we pray, are pleasing in your sight. We pray this in thy most holy name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Teddy. No, somebody's feeding back.
Turns his mic on. It's back on. It's on.
It's him.
Okay.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Everybody's had an opportunity to read the minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions? If not, I'll accept the motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you, thank you. All righty. You want to swear everybody in? Okay, if anybody's going to talk tonight, you have to be sworn in. So if you plan on talking, please stand up to be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, that's all everybody now. I know the sword. All right, Dano?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 24, 2025 Planning Commission meeting of the City of Leesburg. My name is Dan Miller, Planning and Zoning Director for the city. Staff present today includes Deputy Director Candy Harper, Senior Planner Diane Yeckel, Planner Melissa Metters de los Santos, and City Attorney Jennifer Koch. Today's agenda and speakers registry is available on the table by the exit door. If you wish to speak on a case, we do ask that you would please sign into the speakers registry on the door out there and turn it into Diane, who's seated on my left. Under the rules of participation, the meeting will be conducted under the following process. The chairman will announce each case, and staff will then present exhibits for the record. This will include maps, photos, and text as shown on the two screens. Staff will then provide the case background and descriptive information and read a recommendation into the record. The applicant will have the opportunity to speak on the case. The public will have time for public comments. The applicant will have an opportunity to respond, and the chairman will then close the case to the public. The Planning Commission will discuss the case, and at that point, the commission will take a vote on the case. Then they will move on to the next case. The Planning Commission is a board made up of citizens of the city of Leesburg that are appointed by the city commission, and they're charged with two major responsibilities. The first is making final decisions on cases such as variances and conditional uses. The second is to make recommendations on cases which will be heard by the city commission. The city staff provides recommendation based on the city's comprehensive plan, land development regulations, and state statute. Today, there are 10 cases on the agenda. 3 of these cases are for conditional use permits, which means those 3 cases are final decisions by the Planning Commission. That will include the 2 communications tower cases and the Euclid Cottage duplex case. The remainder of the cases on today's agenda are recommendations by the Planning Commission only. These will be forwarded to the City Commission for final decisions. You will find tentative dates for the City Commission hearings, which are listed in bold on the agenda. And please remember that these dates are subject to be changed, so please check with planning and zoning staff or the city clerk's office regarding final hearing dates. Finally, on behalf of the City of Leesburg planning staff and the City of Leesburg Planning Commission, we thank you for your participation in today's public hearing. And that's it for that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, thank you. All right. Before we get started on the first two cases, because we'll probably do those together since it's the same property, it was brought up that that maybe Jack Williams was going to speak for a group of you. I've got quite a few of your sign-up sheets. Who's willing to give up their sign-up sheet to let Jack speak for a little bit longer? Okay. I tell you what I'll do is I'll call them out. Michelle Norvay,
I will speak, please.
you will or will not?
I will.
Okay. Karen Baisden.
I will.
Okay. This may not happen. Angie Liston.
I can give it up if Jack needs it.
Okay. Paul.
I'm going to speak.
You're going to speak? Okay. Mark.
I'm gonna give mine to Jack.
Okay. Is that Stellar? Wasn't sure. Jack Williams. Pat Willman.
A short speech, but I can give up if Jack needs it.
Okay, I'm going to do it one way or the other. You either do it or don't do it. It's up to you.
I'll give it to him.
Okay. Dee?
I'll speak.
Okay. Jamie Roosevelt?
I'll let Jack speak.
Okay. All right, so we still have 4. I need these. 1, 2, 3, 5, 15. Okay. I'll give Jack 10 minutes in lieu of the 15 minutes of these. Does that sound fair?
That's acceptable.
Okay. All right. How do we do that? All right. Old business, number 1, public hearing case number SSCP 24-382, Venice at Lake Harris, small-scale comprehensive plan amendment. And old business number 2, public hearing case number SPUD 24-383, Venice at Lake Harris, small plan unit development.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under the overall proposal, this property consists of 8.7 plus or minus acres, generally located east of US Highway 27, north of Magnolia Avenue and south of Corley Island Road. This is a request for an annexation, small-scale comprehensive plan, and rezoning. The future land use is requested to go from Lake County urban low density to City of Leesburg low density residential. The zoning is requested to go from Lake County C1, which is neighborhood commercial, and R6, which is urban residential, to City SPUD, which is small planned unit development. Again, the site's currently 8.7 plus or minus undeveloped acres. The request is for a future development of 26 attached single-family units, which are townhouses, in a commercial area along US Highway 27 as seen in the conceptual site plan. Candy Harper, Deputy Director, will be showing us the maps and photo exhibits, including the aerial, zoning, future land use, surrounding land use, wetlands, flood zone maps, and CRA maps.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. The aerial on the screen in front of you is called an extended aerial to show a larger area around the subject property, and it shows the property east of US 19 and south of Corley Island Road. This aerial is a little bit more detailed. It's a little closer up to the property, and it shows the property also north of Magnolia Avenue. City of Leesburg future land use, the surrounding future land use includes general commercial to the north, northwest, south, and southwest, estate residential to the north, conservation to the north and south, and high-density residential to the south. The Lake County future land use is urban low density and is surrounded by urban low to the north, east, south, and urban medium density to the west and southwest. The proposed future land use is low density residential. The surrounding city of Leesburg zoning includes planned unit development to the north and northwest, the west and south, small planned unit development to the north and south, C3 commercial to the northwest and southwest, C2 and public to the south. Lake County zoning is currently R6 and C1, urban residential and neighborhood commercial, and is surrounded by R6 to the northeast, west, and south, C2 to the north, which is community commercial, C1 to the north and south, planned commercial to the north, and residential mobile home rental park to the south. The proposed zoning in the city of Leesburg is small planned unit development. Surrounding land uses to the north include residential to the northeast and south and commercial to the south and north. Community redevelopment area is adjacent to the east from the 27441 CRA. The property has flood zone AE on the northwest and south borders. There are wetlands present on the property, including hardwood swamp and water which is excavated, and shrub swamp. Lies in Commission District 3, adjacent to Commission District 3, and across 27 from Commission District 2. And these are the pictures. When we go post signs, as you know, we have to post along rights of way. So the picture on the top is a close-up of the sign that we posted on the property, taken from North Magnolia Avenue. Looking north from North Magnolia Avenue along US 27 to the south. Looking east along Magnolia Avenue, and the bottom picture is looking south from Magnolia Avenue along US 27. Picture on the top is looking west from Magnolia Avenue across US 27. And because we had more than one right-of-way, we posted a second sign. And so the picture on the bottom is a close-up of the sign on the property from US 27. Picture on the north is looking north along US 27, and the picture on the bottom, again, is a posting looking east from US 27. Picture on the top, looking south along US 27, and the picture on the bottom is looking west across US 27. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Harper. This project, under the departmental review summaries, this project was sent out to all city departments plus Lake County government and school board. Under the city department responses, we received no substantive comments from the city departments. The school board did advise that the project would be subject to school concurrency review. And just for information, that includes a review by the school board to see if adequate student stations are present. If they are not, then generally they're subject to what's called a mitigation agreement to provide adequate stations within the school system. Under Lake County Public Works, their comments advised that the access points would require some further evaluation, that the stormwater management design would need to be reviewed by Lake County and St. Johns River Water Management District, that a drainage and flood study would be performed and submitted to the city and county, and that a traffic study should be performed, which it has. And they requested, the Public Works of Lake County requested that the applicant meet with them to discuss the project. Under public responses per Florida statute and City of Leesburg code requirements, the project was legally advertised, posted, and letters were sent out to the surrounding property owners within 200 feet. As you will see in your packets, the neighbors did express significant concerns regarding the access to the site and the wetlands existing on the property, and they are present and wish to provide comments today. In summarizing those comments, and this is just a general summary, they include concerns regarding the wetlands presence on the site, flooding, water contamination, trees, traffic, and wildlife. Mr. Chairman, the residents also provided a petition, which is in your packets, and if I counted correctly, it came up to over 80 signatures on there. So the staff did ask the applicant, and the applicant did conduct a neighborhood meeting to speak with the neighbors. So both the applicant and the neighbors have presentations and comments they wish to provide to the commission today. Staff would like to thank both the applicant and the members of the community for their input in regarding the application and for reaching out to the neighbors and for coming to this meeting to talk about it. As stated in the opening remarks, after the presentation, there will be a time for the applicant and the public to comment. So to go over the PUD requirements that have been provided, this development allows for 26 attached townhouse units, attached single-family, which are townhouse units, with a 2-floor maximum height and an area of commercial development along US 27 that would include 21,000 square feet of retail uses. This will be a platted subdivision, so the individual units would be sold. There's no other uses permitted in the proposal. All the units for the townhouses would be rear-loaded. The garage would be on the back of the home, so the front setbacks can be shorter and the units can be closer together, which gives a larger buffer. The townhouse units would be 20 feet in width for each one, 1,000 square feet minimum size. There's 2 off-street parking spaces for each unit, plus extra spaces provided in the concept plan. Under design and architectural standards, we have the standard PUD, plan unit development architectural requirements applying, which is a list where you have to select 5 features from. 35% of the property has to be an open space, which is exceeded by the current design. Dark sky lighting is required, and as a reminder, the dark sky lighting is basically a way of shielding light to keep it on this subject property and out of the neighbor's yard. There is significant buffering applied to the properties, to the adjacent properties in the PUD, such as a 25-foot buffer tract around the northern, eastern, and western boundaries and a 40-foot buffer tract required around the south side of the property. The landscape buffers would not be part of the lots. They are separate and must be maintained by the HOA. There's a 6-foot privacy fence provided adjacent to the parcels on the north and eastern boundaries, unless the vegetation is opaque, meaning you can't see through it, and of comparable height. We do permit in the city Bahia and Bermuda grass. We no longer permit St. Augustine grass due to the water usage. There is 1 tree required between each lot because they're townhouses. You don't have one in each yard. You have it in each lot in the front. And signage could be a decorative entry feature of concrete, brick, or stucco wall no more than 5 feet in height on each side of the entryway. There are recreational requirements, which means they have to provide a minimum of 5,200 square feet to a separate recreation area set aside for amenities such as children's playground, trails, dog parks, pavilions. That recreation area has to be constructed by the time 50% of the units or 13 of the units are done. And then finally, our standard phasing expiration clause, which requires that the development does move forward substantially within 48 months, 4 years, or if there's an automatic reversion to the RE1 zoning standards, which is 1 acre per unit. All development does have to be on city water and wastewater, so there's no wells or septics. If I may go ahead and read the recommendations into the record. For The small-scale comprehensive plan amendment from Lake County Urban Low to City Low-Density Residential. Case number SSCP 24-382, Planning and Zoning Department is recommending approval of the request for the following reasons. One, the project meets the requirements of Chapter 163.3187 Florida statutes for small-scale comprehensive plan amendments. Two, the proposed request is compatible with the adjacent future land use designations of Lake County Urban Low Density, City of Leesburg General Commercial, High Density Residential, Estate Residential, and Conservation. Three, the proposed request is compatible with the proposed zoning of SPUD, Small Plan Unit Development, as conditioned. And four, the proposed future land use designation for the site is consistent with the city's growth management plan, future land use element, Goal 1, Objective 1.6. The action requested would be to vote to approve the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment from Lake County Urban Low to City of Leesburg Low Density Residential and forward the recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. Mr. Chairman, under the zoning for the Venice at Lake Harris project, case number SPUD 24-383, the Planning and Zoning Department is recommending approval of the request for the following reasons. One, the proposed request of SPUD Small Plan Unit Development zoning is compatible with the current zoning, current surrounding zoning districts, which include Lake County Community Commercial, Urban Residential, which is R6, C1 Neighborhood Commercial, City of Leesburg Small Plan Unit Development, and Plan Unit Development, and C2 Community Commercial. Two, the proposed zoning is compatible with the proposed future land use designation amendment to City Low Density Residential with the current surrounding future land use designations, including Lake County Urban Low, City of Leesburg General Commercial, High Density Residential, Estate Residential, and Conservation. Three, the site is located near existing city utilities on US Highway 27. And four, the proposed request does not appear to create a detriment to surrounding properties based on the proximity to US 27 as conditioned in the attached SPUD zoning. The action requested is vote to approve the proposed rezoning from Lake County C1 Neighborhood Commercial and R6 Urban Residential District to City SPUD Small Plan Unit Development and forward this recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. So, Mr. Chairman, staff is recommending approval on these cases. I know that this is a recommendation that will go forward, whatever this commission decides, it's a recommendation that will go forward for final decision to the City Commission. Just want to stress this is not final decision. I believe Mr. Logan Opsel from the Fern Lowndes Candor in Orlando is here to represent the case and answer any questions you may have. Thank you, sir.
Any questions of staff before we bring them up? Okay.
Good evening. For the record, Logan Opsal, Lowndes Law Firm, 215 North Eola Drive. Great to be with the commission today. Thank you for your time, consideration, and service. I'll be efficient with your time. I know there's folks to speak today, some of which, I think most of which also attended the community meeting, so nice to see them again. I know we'll have certain topics raised, and I'm happy to reserve some time to respond and answer to them as well. Thank you to staff as well for the time in going over the proposed project. I will note that I was looking back, it's been some time we've been sitting with this project. We've actually had the community meeting back in December, right before Christmas holiday. And we've been having ongoing discussions with staff because at the time of the community meeting, the plan was, and you noted from the existing entitlements that you have commercial in the county and you have residential as well, kind of in that eastern portion. The surrounding zoning is R6, so 6 dwelling units an acre, and what we had previously proposed was up to 47 units. As you might imagine, some of the feedback we got at the community meeting and beyond was making sure that we're not running up against these existing properties. This is very much a hole in the donut of what's out there, and that's what's out there. That's what you see readily in your photos and aerials presented to you. And so we took great care, and it also had some feedback from the district commissioner relating to a desire to have more commercial uses in this area and in the district and the city as a whole. And density, we know, is an important topic to the city and topical certainly as of late. And so we reworked the site plan to reduce the single-family townhome units down to 26 units. So although we have existing and up to 4 dwelling units an acre today, the proposal is 2.97 dwelling units per acre, so less than 3, just less than 3 per acre across the site. To do that, what was originally presented was really a residential development with some supporting retail, and have that mixed use component. Again, that exists there today. Instead, we wanted to rework the site plan. We provided a 40% reduction in unit count. And to effectuate that, what we did is really present what we consider, what my client considers to be a commercial development with supporting residential in the back. And we've noted that we see that both within this jurisdiction and others in the immediate area, particularly when there is a desire for commercial along these types of roads, right? We need some supporting residential as well. That's what attracts those high-level Class A users for retail and other commercial uses. And so we really view this as, and we understand annexation is going to go to the commission, but in the proposed project before you, an opportunity to downzone the property of what could be possible in the existing up to 4 dwelling units an acre. Also account for commercial to satisfy some of the comments we received, again, from the commissioner and others. And also provide for much more setback and open space. The PUD ordinance will note that there's a minimum of 35% open space. By reducing our unit count 40%, again, 26 single-family townhome units, we were able to provide for a stormwater retention pond on the north side of the property, and to make sure that there's no water issues in the surrounding area. Flooding was a concern brought up at the community meeting, and also providing for that additional retention pond allows for even further buffering. Now, you've heard me touch on open space. This is a heavily wooded area. It's readily apparent from the aerials and exhibits. You mentioned, staff, the presence of wetlands on the property as well. I know this body and I have discussed this project and others, the amount of permitting and approvals that are required before any impact on wetlands. And Dan touched on that. Lake County has asked to review plans. FDOT will need to review plans. Of course, the city and the Water Management District, importantly. So aware of that, and in an effort to provide the appropriate water retention and capacity is also why we led to, again, a 40% reduction in the original unit proposal. So there are some other items that were brought up, of which we'll hear, and again, I'm happy to respond to access on Magnolia, access generally, traffic. We've tried to speak to, again, lowering density, meaning less traffic. And so we're happy to work through those things. Again, I just want to thank staff. It's been very collaborative. We've reworked this thing. Appreciate your patience and taking this time to provide a less dense project, one that maintains and preserves as much natural vegetation as possible for the screening, provide additional setback for the pond, and satisfy those flooding concerns. We will also be improving the existing canal. You can see there's open water on the property that connects to Lake Harris. That would all be fully permitted to allow clean access and flow of that water. And the amenities. We're proud of the amenities being offered, including there's a boat ramp there, but that's going to be limited to kayaks now, another comment we heard in the community meeting, and allow for an improvement of that area, allow for further open water and natural flow and drainage of the property so as not to create an issue for the existing residents. Now, notwithstanding, and I'll conclude here and reserve some time to respond to any specifics you have, both now and after public comment. But appreciate everyone here tonight. I know this is your neighborhood and your home. Much of the folks here today. I tried to touch on as many of the points that we've heard and we've tried to speak to and provide you a thoughtful product, and we'll likely hear more as well. So thank you for your time. I look forward to responding and answering any questions you have as well as this body. Thank you.
Any questions of the applicant or applicant's representative? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure there'll be some later. Okay, Jack, wherever you are. Oh, there he is.
Thank you very much for hearing us today. Corley Island, not people know much about it. When I was going to school, and I was born out there, we were 2 miles south of Leesburg, and everybody says, you live in the country. You're not part of us in Leesburg. Okay, let's move along. We have, if you'll look in your packets, you've seen where our objections, some of them come from. Corley Island Road was formed after World War II by a man that decided to help out returning veterans, and so they were given low-priced property to build on, and we had some very extinguished people that came back from World War II. My dad was one of them. And so we lived there. I've lived there 70 years. My dad's lived there before that. The Liston family that's represented here today, it was actually their property. And everybody in the country has tried to buy that property, including me, and realtors got in the way, and then banks got in the way because they said it's wetlands, you can't build on it. So you go back to Lake County, and you ask them, what is it? Well, if you look on our charts, and I've got one here that, if you will, that's one, but we are this. If you fly over Leesburg, or that area, Corley Island Road, what do you see there? R6, 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 100 to 125 by 150 foot deep. Houses are usually a little over 1,500 square foot. Some are bigger, some are like, we got the doctors living down on the lake. And we've got 86 people out there that says no. No to several things. This is under Lake County's jurisdiction, which we've lived under their rules from day one. And all of a sudden we get blindsided in October that City of Leesburg is going to try to rezone it. They're going to change the comprehensive plan. We say no to changes the comprehensive plan. We've got what we like. There's northern people that moved down here and bought after the deaths of all the veterans. They've started buying up. And the first thing I heard out of them says, how did this come about? I don't know. For October, everybody that tried to develop this property had no luck. It's 40%. They will tell you there's about 8 acres back there, but they don't own all that. There's a private road that should never have been deeded to, it comes down South Corley Island Road. That should have never, ever been sold to these people that have this property, that bought it. Because there's a lot of families back there that where Corley Island Road stops, South Corley Island Road stops. It's a privatized road and it's full of small spots. Now, we got other things that we have to deal with. They were not allowed to go down our road, Corley Island Road, because we are a 20-foot wide road where meets and boundaries. And so we own to the center of the road with giving up the rights to the next people. Problem with that. Jim Stivanger a few years ago, now do I start on the next one?
Just keep
okay. Jim Stivanger for the county, which was the public works director, came out, Jim, why are you not taking care of our roads? He says, Jack, the county's made a decision. Until you give up 66-foot right-of-way, we will no longer touch this road. So it's been 30 years since our road has been recapped or anything else. They tell us we will never, ever have, and with this storm that came through, we didn't get any help from anybody, FEMA, nobody. These beautiful trees that buffer our houses from storms. By the way, if you would like, I've got some books that y'all can take a look at that show the real property, every square inch of it, all about it. We've got things that come in, and I'm going to jump to something else. DOT in the 50s, when the houses started doing they started dumping their water off Highway 27 from EMS at the top of the hill. I was on the board, Lake County Water Board for 13 years, appointed by the governor, Reuben Askew, to serve on that board. And we have a situation before they took, there was 2-lane highway coming down there, and then they went to 4-lane. They had to do something with 1 inch of water from the top of EMS up there, comes to the east, comes down the side of the highway, and I've got all kinds of pictures. It's 1 million gallons per inch rain. They got an 18-inch culvert. They come down the road, come to Corley Island Road, go under it, form a pool there, which overflows, and I've got pictures in there where we have been flooded. In 1960, I couldn't go to school for a week because we were flooded in there. Then they decided to develop, illegally filled in the property when originally the canal that they speak of was a ditch. God made the ditch by rain, and it washed it. Corley Island Road floods our property every time it rains, starting at the east end of Corley Island Road, which is about 8.5 foot higher than where it is where I live, and it dumps on each property owner all the way down, and it catches at the back of our properties. And if it wasn't for the Liston's property they had at the time, which allowed us to put a ditch in there, it goes into the wetlands, that wetlands would have been flooded most of the time. Now, I've got pictures here, aerials from 1941. We had a bomber base out here at the airport. They had aerial reconnaissances they did before they went to Europe. They took some nice, pretty pictures of our road. Now, the overlays that I gave Mr. Miller, and by the way, staff has done an excellent job representing both sides and all that. But anyway, it shows that it was nothing. And the ditches don't even show. It's not until 1958 that the ditches start coming alive, because in 2 years later, the ditches will come in and they'll start turning into a canal, which a man named Carlisle Rogers with the bank up here in Leesburg, he went and decided that he wanted to make some valuable property, so he went and put a dredge out there and dredged, and right behind my house where they're showing a lake on this property, it's 60 foot deep. And that's because the dredge had sat there and pumping and filled all that property, where all that is up on Highway 27, because it was a swamp just like the rest of the property. And then also Dr. Leckinger's office was nothing but a swamp, and they filled that in basically from the spoils of Highway 27 when they made the 4-lane. They took it, where the turkey chutes used to be up on the top of the hill there. They took that and they used to fill in, because we were swamped off of a 2-lane highway. So DOT says, we gotta get rid of our water. We're gonna dump it down Corley Island Road. Well, it just so happens that I own the property right beside where they dumped it from ditches. And the county, when they allowed that plaza to be put in there, they said, we're gonna help you out a little bit. We're gonna put an 18-inch culvert from Corley Island Road, Dr. Leckinger's spot, because before there were open ditches coming along the road. They openly flowed. If it rained, it would carry it out. There's 8 foot of ditch there that carried out. And so then they put that 18-inch culvert, and I've got pictures that I've showed staff and everything. My backyard had water and would happen still to my knees. I got pictures of my daughter. We took a Sea-Doo, and we could actually go from the canal, which the friction in the canal was so great at the lake end, it causes back up, and so the water comes up. And it comes up until it goes out. Every time we have a storm event, hurricanes, I remember 6, 7 of them that I get flooded. And I mean flooded. And my doorsteps and all like that, because the county let somebody build a piece of problem. So man created the problem. The government created the problem. And that was Lake County. So we need some help. We love our land. All my kids have moved back on the same road, and we own a good portion of Corley Island Road. There's 6 houses we own. And we need some help. If City of Leesburg is going to take this thing on, then you got to put some pants on there that helps us with our roads, our drainage with DOT, and a bunch of other stuff. Because Corley Island Road also is a problem. We got the DOT coming this way off of 27. We got Corley Island Road coming down from the east and draining both sides. Now, I will tell you, we don't have any problem, the commercial, what they want to do on 27, that is no problem. They can do it. We don't believe they should be putting a bridge across the canal, and what you're going to have to deal with DOT, you're going to have to do Corps of Engineers. That's a navigable waterway, and I'll tell you this, when I was on the Lake County Water Authority, they didn't even know what our canal existed, and since I was on it, I said, my gosh, that's what comes down right beside our house. And so Will Davis, that was a director at the time. One more time?
One
Okay.
minute. No, 1 minute.
1 minute? Okay, I'll sum it up. Please read what we put there. Those are real things. We don't think that, if they would go to the R6, 2 dwellings per acre at 5 acres, they could use our road, and we don't have a problem with that. But when you start putting that many people, what they're wanting to do in there, that becomes a problem. And by the way, we do, your first draft that you did with us and the second one, attaboy. I'll tell you, they did some pretty good uses to the wetlands as far as that goes, and I have to commend that. That was a thing. But we also need to have some help on the backs of our properties to that ditch you have where you put it in the lake. We would need some help with that so that our water that comes across doesn't become a lake in our own backyards and inundates us. So there's some things that could be worked out, but for the most part, we still wish it'd stay with Lake County. Thank you, and I appreciate y'all letting us address that.
Thank you, Jack. All right. Okay, I'm going to ask the people that are going to speak, try not to repeat things that he had already gone over. You know, if you have new things, go ahead and bring that up, but that way we don't, you know, hear the same thing 3 or 4 times. All right, Dee. I guess I should think Miss Williams. Known you too long. State your name and your address, please.
I'm Deanne Carmichael Williams, 4142 Corley Island Road. I'm the other half of him. My family moved down here from Georgia when I was 2 years old, so about 1960. We came down, and my father put in Rainforest, which was a dinosaur jungle and boats and whatever. It was a tourist attraction. So we built our house, Corley Island Road, way out in the country. And we were the first house on the left. And it was our little piece of heaven because it was such a nice neighborhood. The kids could play. Everybody looked after everybody's kids. You better get home. It's time for supper. You know, you're going to get, you know, your mama's going to get you. Well, anyway, so Jack and I married. We grew up 2 doors down, and we married after I finished college, and then we came back and built our home right across from our parents. So now we have our children there. My grandchildren are there. We're very invested. So now to think of that property, to me, R6 should be what it is. And let me tell you something. There's a lot of animals, a lot of wildlife. They have nowhere to go. They've already been run off everywhere else. And it's not that I want a bear in my backyard, but we have seen them. Foxes. We've seen a wolf. We have seen just boo-koodles of animals. By the way, as per Mr. Liston, there are gopher holes. We have gopher turtles on that property. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I assume they're protected. So you may want to investigate that. But we really like the way things are. But R6, put a few houses. But when you bring in that many homes, and it's way better than what it was, then you're dealing with maybe families of 4. If they're 2-story, you're not going to get many seniors out there. So we're talking families. And, you know, I want to know, is there no gate in the back, please? Because we like our little piece of heaven. All our neighbors, we get along. We have a really nice neighborhood. And I love children. I raise kids and grandkids. And I don't want our neighborhood to be traipsed all over. Do y'all understand? I mean, would y'all want to live with that in your backyard? Something else I want to know, and I know I got 10 seconds. If the developers develop it, are they going to sell it? Is it going to be someone that says, oh, we're going to make government housing? Is that going to happen? I want to know.
Thank you. Paul. And the soundtrack in the background is free.
All right. So my name's Paul Yazbek. I live at 29124 Short Street, which is directly as Magnolia makes a sharp right-hand turn. My concerns, mainly, we have traffic concerns. Traffic, right? We don't lead from forward, we lead from behind. Like what's the plan for 27 to move all of these vehicles? Now, they say they did a traffic study and there's no impact, but you build all of these places, so then kids don't move out nowadays. So now you got the kids, the parents, did they take into account for FedEx and UPS and Prime trucks and Kroger trucks and all of this vehicles? Ever since Lake Denham Estates was approved and they changed our road structure there, you almost cannot turn in onto Magnolia if you're going south down 27. That lane turning into Lake Denham Estates backs up almost all the way into 27. You have to pull your car up directly on the line and try to peek around the line of cars that are going in. Now, their plan shows for an entrance if you're heading north down 27. But what happens to all of those people that are coming south from Leesburg? They have to turn in and go down Magnolia Road, right? So we have this huge traffic problem. That's one concern. Water is another major concern. So you'll hear them talk about water, and I know you don't want me to repeat that over and over again. So I live back on Lake Harris, right? Magnolia goes down and makes a sharp right-hand turn. I own that 20-foot strip, and then I square off on the lake. All of that water runs down Magnolia and comes down my driveway. So then I'm in charge of all of the water. Made a huge impact when U-Haul built the building out there. So now in the last year, we have U-Haul trucks and trailers pulling in. But in the last hurricane, now I've lived there for 21 years. I've been through hurricane after hurricane. But the last one, man, my front yard had this much water in it. I can show you where my backyard had this much water. The neighbor that lives directly in front of me totally flooded out right there because all of their retention ponds overflood, come down Magnolia, head straight down my driveway. So I don't believe I should be in charge of that water that comes down in there. And the safety of the traffic, water impact. Now they say that it's 8.77 acres and that's 2.9 units an acre. If you were to take the total 8.77 acres, but then isn't so much of it going to be commercial? So if that's part of it's commercial and you say that's 2 acres, well then that's only 6 something. So what is the real number of units per acre?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Karen Basden. Yeah.
Are you putting those into the record? Because you'll have to
Yeah.
leave them with the clerk if you do.
Yeah, you have to give them up.
I just asked Jack and he gave these to me.
Is Jack still here?
Yeah.
Are you
It's
putting
okay
this-
to give them up?
Are you putting
I
this
tell
in
you
the-
what, I've got 1,000 pictures of that property over the years, and if you look through there, that tells a story of everybody's property around there, and I just wanted y'all to look, I gave staff one of them, as a matter of fact.
Okay, but my point is, are you okay giving those up? Because if you put them up here for evidence, we keep them.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay,
I'll explore.
that was it. Okay, state your name and your address, please.
I'm Karen Basted. I live at 4341 Magnolia Avenue, and that is the house on the canal just before it opens up into Lake Harris. And I'm not going to touch on some of the traffic problems because it's a big traffic problem, mainly because when we pull out of Magnolia, there's the turnoff into Lake Denham, there's the U-Haul, Corey Island's over here, and then the worst part of the traffic is that if you are wanting to go south, you take a right, and that turning lane to make that U-turn is short. So now you're going to have people from the new complex, Magnolia, U-Haul, Corey Island, all competing for this one turning lane to do a U-turn. And the next U-turn is up on where EMS is. Very bad spot. You can't even see. So that's my concern on the traffic. No one has touched on anything about the canal. It's a small canal. I mean, maybe at previous meetings or something, but I don't know what they're planning on doing with the basin. It's a very fragile canal, and sometimes down by our part of the creek, it's a foot. It gets down to about a foot. So the ecosystem of that canal is extremely fragile. So any runoff that's coming out of parking lots, fertilizers, landscape, is really going to affect that canal and will flow right into Lake Harris. I know that happens with all developments, but that's a very small canal. I mean, and not only that, but our back doors are 50 feet from that canal. So there's a safety issue, okay? You can just jump on the canal and walk right into my back door, locked or unlocked, you know? So, but I'm really concerned about how narrow our canal is and how small it is. It's a very quaint canal. We can go off and fish off of it. So what is the plan for that canal? I mean, I'm hearing that there's going to be marine accessibility going back and forth in that small canal, and there's another form of pollution that's going to go into our lake and our canal. But I haven't heard anything about what's going to be allowed to go through there. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, the applicant will come back up at the end after everybody speaks, and we'll see if he'll address that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lau. Michelle Norvay? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Please state your name and your address, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Michelle Norvay. I live at 4243 Corley Island Road in unincorporated Lake County. There's a very sad thing happening, and it seems that Leesburg commissioners are making decisions for my neighborhood, yet I can't vote for or against you. I can't decide if you're going to represent the person that I want to represent me. I attended the annexation meeting a couple of weeks ago, and the commissioner said, you know, oh, we heard what people said. But it seemed very obvious to me that the commissioners didn't hear the room. They might have heard 50-50 people that were willing to get up to the mic. But the room itself is opposed to this master growth plan. I'm not opposed to growth, but responsible and thoughtful growth. And it appears that Leesburg is just going to continue to annex and gobble up land and bulldoze it. I'd like to know how many acres of woodlands have you allowed to be literally bulldozed, even in the last year? It appears to me you've lost the foundation of what made our area exceptional. Our neighborhood's anchored by a multi-generational family. They've lived in the neighborhood over 70 years. We live there because we love our privacy, our woodlands, and our wildlife. Unfortunately, it seems you've become a board of bulldozer mentality. It's heartbreaking. A careless vote can destroy what our families have worked so hard to preserve. You're now proposing to change the zoning in our neighborhood from low-density residential. We oppose this to our core. How can you speak for us when we are not even permitted to vote for or against you? Our neighborhood is still on wells and septic. What will happen to our wells when that land is stripped? What will happen to the water tables? Who will take care of that? Who will take care of the flooding in the lower laying yards when the woodlands are stripped and when the wetlands are filled in? Our neighborhood, including the land you propose to bulldoze, build and pave, there are gopher tortoise burrows. I even have one in my own yard. The neighborhood will be illuminated 24/7 and will drive our owls, who meet in our neighborhood every year to mate, away. You show no regard for our wildlife, our armadillo, opossums, our eagles, our hawks, our osprey, nor does it respect us as human occupants.
Time.
Thank you.
For your information, we haven't voted yet, so you kept referring to us doing this and doing that. Nothing's been done yet, so. Little offensive. Joyce Carver? Joyce?
Yes.
Hers is for the.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, that's it. That's it. Okay, you want to come back up and address some of the things that were brought up?
Thank you. I'll be brief and direct, but taking notes along the way, so I want to address everything. To the extent I missed something, please call it out and I'll be sure to respond. I want to talk a little bit about the entitlements, the requests before you. So what's being presented is urban low future land use to city low, and that's low-density residential. I believe the interlocal agreement's what's requires the small-scale PUD. It does afford the city the availability to add conditions, which you've seen in the ordinance. One of the things I heard was connectivity to Corley Island Road. That was something we heard loud and clear that was not desired, and so we've put that condition in the ordinance that it would not be connected. There is an easement out there. I believe it's currently used by utilities to access some utility improvements out there or other infrastructure. We are arms wide open about that easement. It's a private easement, but I know it's really treated like a public one. And so we'll continue to work with staff on how appropriately to handle that's out there and make sure the parties are addressing it as necessary. This property is a bit unique. I mean, we know it's got some real world challenges to it and how it functions from a topo standpoint and the water that's out there. It's unique even still because it has these commercial and residential entitlements in place today. And so we are hopeful to use the SPUD vehicle to provide for some of the concerns we heard and some of which I mentioned. But again, and I want to say this again above board, there are wetlands on the property. We have to deal with those issues, and they're real. We had these past hurricanes were 200-year events, and look, we know that we're going to get more of them. We're going to get more of them. I mean, it was bad, and we know we're going to get more of them. And I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. And that is why the legislature and the state has increased these requirements. And so when we talk about how to handle these and the approvals we're going to need to seek, both with this and lots of, this is Florida, lots of properties like this, the DOT, the county, the city, FEMA, Water Management District, Army Corps, thank you, Mr. Williams, I forgot that one, and appreciate your presentation too, sir. I actually really enjoyed the history of the area. I think it is telling, not just this area, but all around the area and Central Florida. By and large, we have issues. They, build the roadways back in the 40s and 50s, and we're still dealing with those issues now. And sure, there's an extent to which we've strapped ourselves to those, and those are things that need to be dealt with because we can't go get approvals until they properly are. You can't drain from the property onto others, especially with these enhanced guidelines. And so we are going to have to go through potentially all six government entities and regulations to make sure that all those things are accounted for. And so I just want to be very clear that that's out there, and we have to do it. That's not an option. We have to do it. And part of the reason why, and yes, we did hear you. Part of the reason why we got rid of 40% of the units was to account for more water reclamation, for more water retention capacity. And again, those are those things that need to go through those approvals. The ditch on the back of the property, we've heard there's flooding in the area. That is something that has to be looked at, and how it affects Mr. Williams' property, all the neighbors' properties, this property. It's going to have to be dealt with. As to the canal, appreciate your questions. It's going to be kayak only. We really can only control kind of north, if you will, of the canal, and that will have certain grading that needs to be done to make sure there's appropriate drainage, not too much runoff, but enough to drain properly. All of that, again, has to be permitted appropriately. So there won't be, the motorboat traffic. I forget the particulars you said, but we're proposing just the kayak, and that area will be improved per the letter of the law. So hopefully I addressed that adequately. So I believe I've touched on all the things in my notes, except one big one, the environment and the wildlife, the tortoises. There's going to have to be an environmental study to address those to the extent there's tortoises on there. We know those have to be properly dealt with per state law, and so we will conduct those studies. We're required to. And appreciate that, because I know it's an important concern. It's, the environment's what makes the character of the area. And hopefully in this effort to reduce the unit count, look towards preserving as much of those natural trees that have already grown and matured out there as possible. And also working with staff to add any additional landscaping or screening to make sure that they meet city requirements and what we've heard from today. So with that, I'll stand for any specific questions, and please let me know if I forgot something.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant?
Yes. Of course. Thank you. So I did hear you say something about gophers. You also realized that the resident said something about eagles. So that would be part of the study as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And of course, there's strict regulations around that. Nothing we can do about that. So those will have to be accounted for.
Right. And then you did make mention of the traffic study. So with that, in the canal, you said that the canal will only have kayak access only.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to reiterate that. Also would like to, and then this is low-density mixed use.
Yes. Per the PUD, it would have the mixed use, permitted uses.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's closed to the public, sorry.
Did we get to respond, or
No.
nothing else?
No, that's it.
Remember, they don't live here.
Well,
When they
that's
go
fine.
home,
We're going to continue.
It's not a local development, a local developer.
Sir, we're going to continue. Figures.
Tim, I do have something just some questions for staff whenever
Sure.
you're ready. So Dan, with this, I just want to use this opportunity to make sure we have everything clear with the public, because I know some things sometimes we may miss because of our emotions are involved. So, and I would like to X those out of it, so we're able to, as a commission, do what we're here to do. I would like to take this opportunity to make mention that we are not voted on. We are appointed by the commissioners. that they put us here. And we're citizens that live in this community just like everyone else. And that I can speak for myself, I take this position very seriously because I live here too. And 27 is not foreign to me. So I have history. I can go back to where from basically, I could say Save-A-Lot to Clearmont was orange groves. So I go back that far. I may not be as old as some people that live in that community, but I see things. And I also know that one of the rights that we have as citizens is that we're able to own property. And as long as we do our due diligence by that property, that we're afforded those things that we're able to build on the land, said that we follow such rules. I do commend the developer on meeting with the residents. And I did have one other question of him, and I knew I was losing my train of thought, and that was, but you guys probably can answer it, was the buffers around the homes that are already there. I know you said that there was a setback as far as where the townhomes are, that they don't just back up until the existing homes that are already there. Is that correct, or what do you have in proposed for that?
Is it just setbacks or is it
No.
structure?
There are setbacks for the buildings, but there's also buffers that go from the property line on, and I believe I quoted that in the case presentation, which came out to be, let me find that, please, Mr. Chairman. We had 40 feet buffer on the south side of the property. That's an undisturbed, can't do anything with it.
40 feet, okay,
40 feet.
and that's gonna have a lot of natural habitation?
Well, yes, ma'am, it could. The only thing you can do in a buffer, can't build anything in it, you can put like a trail, a walking trail or something, and a lot of developments want to do that. This one, I don't know if they would want to or not because of the marshiness of the soil, you know.
Okay, so they probably would leave it.
But the buffers are not part of the lots, and they're separate and have to be maintained by the HOA.
Okay.
So if it's a natural buffer, generally, there's nothing to do to it. But in some cases where a buffer is not heavily treed or shrubbed, then the city will tell them to go ahead and plant those trees and plant those shrubs and do those kind of things to buff it up, so to speak, because it's a buffer. But
buff it up.
Sorry.
That's a good one.
And I understand that for the residents, for the planning commission, it's really, really tough. This property can go up to 4 units an acre in the county. And
Say that again loudly.
it can go up to 4 units an acre in the county under the
So
low
if the
density
county
land
had,
use.
okay, 40 units.
Potentially. I don't know if the county.
Four.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Yes,
sorry,
ma'am,
that's why I
4.
didn't hear. So it could go up to 4
Yes,
units per
ma'am.
acre per the county?
Could. I don't know if they
Could.
would, but they could. In other
Okay.
words, someone could come along. So it's extremely difficult. I get it for the residents that live there and for the commission and for the decision makers. So what we're trying to do from the staff level is put conditions on it to minimize the negative effects, which is an impossible job, but we're trying to do so
Right.
as much as possible. Spent a lot of time with Mr. Williams and some folks and with the applicants as well. It probably hasn't been developed because it has a significant amount of wetlands on it. But as people move into every single community in Lake County, more and more of these types of properties will become more and more valuable to the point that they will be developed. And that's just the way
Right.
it is.
So yes, we have a hard job to make sure that the responsible growth is happening. So that's why I just like to ask those questions,
Yes, ma'am.
reiterate it, make sure it's loud, make sure that the public is hearing the decisions that we have to go through, because our job is to make sure all the i's are dotted and
Yes,
the
ma'am.
t's are crossed. And then the commission, the city commission, is it true they're gonna make the final decision on this?
That is correct. Staff makes a recommendation based on the comp plan and the zoning code. If a development can meet those, we don't necessarily have a choice. We can't just go in and say.
No,
there's-
right.
And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of development that comes through that I don't care for. But I'm not gonna say I have to do my job, whether I put in a negative review recommendation or positive. It's based on the comp plan and the zoning, and not what I personally feel. I can't do that. But it goes then to this body as a group of citizens to make a recommendation only. Then it goes to the city commission for 2 hearings. So this is a long way from done for either side,
If-
the
for your-
applicants or the.
For y'all's information, it goes to the city commission May 12th and June 23rd as of right now. You want to keep in touch with them. Whether we vote it up or vote it down, it still goes to the city. So don't assume, if it's voted down today, don't assume that it's over. You still got to go to the city if you want to speak.
Tim, I got one more quick
Sure,
thing.
sure.
The traffic, not saying it's not our problem, but it's not our,
It's everybody's problem.
yeah, it's our problem,
And
but we
it
can't
doesn't-
address that.
And because it's a US highway controlled by FDOT, and the roads out there are county roads, the city itself doesn't have direct authority to do much on it. The other thing, and this is a really tough one, and I know that a lot of people don't know this, but it's in Chapter 163, that the state legislature, there's a law that is basically interpreted as you cannot turn a development down solely for traffic. And thank you, Ms. City Attorney, please help me with that.
I want to hear the legal side of that.
Thank you. If the applicant can show that they can make the development work and not make the road more deficient than it is, okay? So, for example, a lot of times you'll see where off-site improvements are required, like turn lanes. That would be required in order for that particular development not to make the traffic worse. But they don't have to come through and account for the last 50 years of traffic mistakes. It's only for the development and the impact that their development will have.
And this is gonna be the responsibility of the county and not the city.
The county and the
County and
city
the
will.
state.
Yeah,
County
and
and
the
state.
city's ready to work with them at all the time. But
Of
yes,
course.
and,
Okay.
but thank the city attorney for taking words right out of my mouth. So,
Okay, any other questions? Any other discussions before we render a decision?
Can I address the board?
No, sorry. It's closed to the public. You had your opportunity. I apologize.
Well, staff had one more thing. We
No,
offered. to
sorry,
buy-
no.
Okay.
No, sorry. That's the rules. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm just supporting them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but they can make their points at the city commission
Correct,
meeting.
correct.
They have 2 chances to make those very points to the city commission.
That's a good point.
Hold on to that, write it down.
Is it still
Okay,
only
thank you.
3 minutes?
I'm sorry?
Is it still only 3 minutes to talk?
I don't know at the city, with the city commission. Yeah, it's 3 minutes.
The three.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a city
All right.
policy.
I'm waiting on a motion one way or the other.
Did you have a discussion among the commissioners?
I thought we just did that. You do that every time. Go ahead. You wait until we're ready to vote.
Just like hearing everything.
Yeah, well, I certainly understand. I've been here as long as any of you guys out there too, so I understand the situation.
Boy, howdy.
So, yeah, it's an issue, and what Dan keep in mind what Dan has told you is he has an obligation under the law to make certain recommendations, whether he agrees with the decision or not. So please, whatever we do today, come to the city commission meeting and express your opinions there. Okay. That's all I have to say.
Anybody else? Okay. Again, we're open to a motion.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve case number SSCP-24382.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowers,
No.
Chairman Senate,
No.
Commissioner Carter,
No.
Commissioner Marshall,
No.
Commissioner O'Kelly,
No.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Yes.
Okay. And on number 2, public hearing case number SPUD 24383, the small PUD, is there a motion?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to deny SPUD 24383.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Carter,
No.
Commissioner Kaplan.
You want,
Yes.
I mean, yes, I'm sorry, I'm so stuck in.
I'd have done the same
Yes
thing.
for the no.
Commissioner Kaplan,
No.
Commissioner Bowers,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
No.
Commissioner O'Kelly,
Yes.
Chairman Senate.
Yes. Like I said before, it was voted down here, but the city still votes on it, so we're just a recommendation. And those dates again are May 12th and June 23rd. And you may want to check in, Jack, maybe you check in and make sure that's still set, and then you can let everybody else know. Okay. Thank you, and thank you for everybody's patience. Okay, I'll give them a minute to get out. Anybody want to go to the bathroom? Yeah. We're going to take about a 5-minute break. Call this meeting back to order. French fries? Sorry. No sleep. Public hearing case number CUP 25-465, Skyway Towers, 2021 Tally Road, CUP, conditional use permit. Dano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Background and overall proposal for this project is a request for a conditional use permit to allow for a new communications tower in an existing M1 industrial zoning district on approximately 15 plus or minus acres of land. Property is generally located on the south side of Tally Road and on the east side of Tally Box Road. We just wanted to note that a conditional use permit is generally required whenever a tower, in almost all zoning districts, whenever a tower is requested to be built. There's a concept plan for the location and design of the tower that's shown in Exhibits B and C in your packet. And at this time, Deputy Director Candy Harper will present the maps and photo exhibits, which include the aerial zoning, future land use, surrounding land use, wetlands, flood zone maps, and CRA maps.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Give me a moment to catch up here. What you have before you, much like the last time, is an extended aerial. It's showing you a greater area around the site. You can see all the way over to US 27 to the east, Tally Box or Tally Road to the north, and Tally Box lies immediately to the west of the property. And then this aerial is a little bit more zoomed in, so you pick up a great deal of detail along Tally Box and Tally. If I'm too far away, you can't hear me. If I'm too close, I'm echoing.
It's driving me crazy. I was an audio engineer for too long. It's killing me.
So the zoning is the city zoning map shows the subject property as M1 industrial, with M1 industrial to the north, south, and west, PUD, planned unit development to the north, commercial industrial plan to the west, C3 highway commercial to the northwest and east, and R1 low-density residential to the south, and public to the east, south, and west, and R3 high-density to the east. Lake County zoning shows industrial, heavy industrial to the southeast in that gray area. City of Leesburg future land use is industrial. The surrounding future land uses are industrial to the north, east, south, and west, institutional to the north, south, and west, estate residential to the south, general commercial to the north, east, and south, and high-density residential to the east, conservation to the north. Lake County future land use is regional commercial to the southeast. This map is showing you the proposed conditional use overlay. The project will be in the south of this property. Next map I have is the flood zones. And it's showing a flood zone of A across the southeast areas of the subject property. And the wetlands map shows that there are a variety of wetlands in the southwest corner of the property. Surrounding land uses to the north is warehousing, office, multifamily, and vacant residential, hospital, retail, vacant industrial, light manufacturing, vacant commercial, and residential. Manufactured home park. To the south is utility, single-family residential, light manufacturing, vacant industrial, and vacant. Municipal government and improved government municipal. To the east is residential. It's a manufactured home park, and to the west is light manufacturing, warehousing, and vacant residential or industrial. It does lie within the Carver Heights Community Redevelopment Area, almost entirely. And it is in Commission District 1. The top photo shows a close-up of the sign that was posted on Tally Road. Bottom picture shows looking north across Tally Road from the subject property. The top photo shows looking east along Tally Road from the subject property. The picture on the bottom photo shows looking south across Tally Road into the subject property. The top photo shows looking west along Tally Road from the subject property. And the bottom picture shows a close-up of the sign on Tally Box Road. So the top photo shows looking north along Tally Box Road from the subject property, and the bottom photo shows looking east onto the subject property from Tally Box Road. The top picture shows looking south along Tally Box Road from the subject property, and the bottom picture shows looking west across Tally Box Road from the subject property. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Harper.
Thank you.
With that, we move to the departmental review summary. The project was sent out to all the city departments, plus Lake County government. City department all the city departments had no substantive comments on this project. This project is not a residential project, so it is not subject to school board review. Lake County Public Works had no comment on it. Under public responses per the Florida statutes and the City of Leesburg Code of Ordinances, notice requirements, the project was legally advertised, posted, and sent out to surrounding property owners. Staff did receive a petition from local residents, which includes approximately, as I counted, 100 signatures. The petition cites health concerns in the placement of a new tower, and we did put the petition in your packet. Staff also wanted to, if I may, Mr. Chairman, correct some potential incorrect information that is circulating. This is pretty normal in zoning cases. We had heard that people were concerned that there was going to be a tower within 200 feet of their neighborhood. That's not correct, and I wanted to put that on the record. The 200 feet is the distance from the property line that we send out surrounding property owner letters, but that's easy to get confused. The 200 feet comes from the requirements for the mail out. You take the entire property wherever the development is on the property. Could be in the middle of the property, the north, the south, wherever. And then you go 200 feet out. Those are the folks who get notified by law. We notify them. So it can be confusing, but I wanted to let folks know if they're watching or if they're here tonight, there's not a tower within 200 feet of anybody's house. The proposal is for the tower to be located on the property, 2009 Tally Road, and it's seen in the Exhibit B of the conditional use permit. It is a monopole request for 150 feet in height. I'd like to go ahead and read the recommendation. For the Skyway Towers that says here 2021 Tally Road, case number CUP 25465, Planning and Zoning Department is recommending approval of the request for the following reasons. One, a conditional use permit is required for the proposed use under Chapter 25-284 use table. Two, the request meets the criteria as set forth in Section 25-141 conditional uses and Section 25-284 district use regulations of the City of Leesburg Code of Ordinances for the granting of a conditional use permit to allow for the development of the 150-foot monopole communications tower. Subject to the conditions below, the proposed conditional use does not appear to create a detrimental impact on the surrounding properties, and the request does not create a negative impact or inconsistency with the City of Leesburg comp plan. And then there's a number of conditions for this, including the granting of a statement that says it's consistent with Chapter 25-141 and 25-284, that the permit is subject to all City of Leesburg code requirements, including zoning, building codes, regulations, etc., and that this conditional use permit does not exempt the applicant from any other requirements of the city, the state, or anybody else involved in the communications business. The action requested is vote to approve the conditional use permit for the subject property to allow for the development of a 155-foot wireless monopole tower. And I believe there's a representative from Skyway Towers here to answer any questions you have. And I also believe Miss Joyce Carter is here as well to speak. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions of staff before we have the applicant come up? Okay, thank you. Should have had Jack stay, he knows all about towers.
Good evening, Jamie Mayer of the law firm Hillward Henderson, representing the applicant, 101 East Kennedy Boulevard in Tampa, and I have been sworn. Mike Rankin of Land Planning Group was here, and he was going to be presenting this case. Unfortunately, he got a call about a family emergency, and so I'm going to do my best to try to say what he would have said, but probably keep it. Maybe he would have been even shorter, but I'm going to try to keep it short, is my point. Thank you to staff. I think that the maps really show, I think, tell the story here. It's a pretty straightforward case. The cell tower meets all of the city's requirements for a cell tower. It's in the zoning district where the code wants these towers to be. We are aware of the neighbor petition, but again, as Mr. Miller explained, it's separated from the neighborhood to the south by a lot of vegetation and a Duke Energy easement with power poles running through it. So there's a pretty significant degree of visual and physical separation from the tower's location in this industrial area. I really am here for any questions, but I don't have much more to add than that, and thank you for your time.
Any questions of the applicant?
Question for you. Why was this particular area chosen?
So we have a coverage map here. Where is it? In tab. Sorry. Work from here a little bit. I apologize. I'm kind of going. Tab 4. My apologies. And we were also supposed to have an RF engineer here, and he did not show up. However, this is both a capacity tower and an additional coverage tower. So again, I'm not an RF engineer, so I'm not testifying obviously as an RF expert or anything like that, but what I know is when I asked him what was the reasoning, T-Mobile is both adding to their coverage network here, so they are filling in some dead spots, filling in spots. So you can see here, for example, the yellow shows the outer limits of the tower's reliable in-vehicle coverage. The green shows the reliable in-building residential coverage, and there are some pockets where that is getting filled in. It's also a capacity issue. So when you start to have towers that are more like handoff candidates, you're driving through, you're transferring from different towers as you're driving through, or overall just there's more development, there are more people using it. People are now using it for their Wi-Fi, like your home Wi-Fi could be coming from one of these towers more and more. The capacity gets strained on towers that exist within the coverage network. So this tower kind of serves both purposes. It fills in some pockets that have diminished coverage currently, and then it also adds an additional handoff candidate, which increases the capacity.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Yes, the residents stated on their petition, the concern for radiation. Could you address that as well?
Yes. So in your packets, there is a letter also signed by a licensed RF professional engineer. RF emissions are regulated under federal law. This discussions about them cannot be considered in zoning decisions under federal law because it's a preempted scheme. So we've already gotten the record. The requisite FCC safety standards will be met.
I understand that. But I wanted to know, in regards to that, what is, the residents have a concern about that? Do you have a statement to ease their concerns?
The statement is that FCC safety standards are met, and that is in the record. We really, so we don't talk about things that are outside of the scope of the city's code, especially when federal law preempts them being considered in a zoning decision. So that, unfortunately, that's really the answer.
So in other words, you really can't say that this tower can't cause radiation problem or anything like that?
I'm not,
That's right, there's actually a federal law that prohibits you from taking that into consideration.
Okay.
So what the applicant's saying is she doesn't want to
Address
it at all because legally you're not even allowed to consider it.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I was really making that statement, asking the question for the statement, making it clear to the public in regards to considering that decision and the effects on on the community, so they would know, they would have that piece, because I'm sure they're probably gonna come up and ask the same question. So just, they can save a couple minutes on whatever they're going to present, because that was a concern.
Right.
Okay, any other questions? Thanks.
One other question.
Nope, too late. No, go ahead.
Did you guys consider any other area in Leesburg?
Well, that was actually one of the things that we did speak to the neighbor, I think, who's here tonight. She did suggest some other properties owned by a man, and we did look at those. They're very far away. I even have a map that shows, where they were. It won't be the same coverage area. Those could be a location for a completely different tower that serves a completely different coverage area. But, when these towers are 155, well, 55 is the lightning rod, so 150 feet tall, they can only spread to a certain radius. And, you can kind of see from that graphic what that radius generally looks like. So it would not be the same coverage area to put it somewhere else. And to put it somewhere else is kind of taking a step backwards, if I'm being honest, because it's an industrial zoning district. It's meeting all of the siting standards of the city's code. This is not really a tower that we would look at and say that it would even make sense to consider an alternative location, because it's in kind of a dead spot of a very developed industrial area. But it serves the communities and the uses. There's all kinds of things in this radius. It serves all of these things while being in the appropriate zoning district, so it's an ideal location for a tower.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you. Joyce?
Greetings.
State your name and your address, please.
Joyce Carter, 2117 Woodland Boulevard, Leesburg, Florida. I'd like to apologize if there may be an error on the letter that was sent to the residents, which stated that, according to public records, you are the owner of property located within 200 feet of the reference request below, in reference to the case number that is in question. Okay, to our city manager, Jim Burry. This is a whole different panel, but anyway, you know whom you are, and I don't want to waste my 3 minutes. So, if I had to give our presentation a title, it would be, grant us no torture, no restless days, and no sleepless nights, no fear. The house is already on the location, the tower is already on the location of Tally Road, where they're going to put this tower. Our community, Woodland Park community, since 1960, 1961, one of Leesburg Black Heritage communities. The other one is June Drive. Woodland Park is being represented to get the victory over Skyway Towers, who wants to install a 155-foot cell phone tower 200 feet in the back of several homes in Woodland Park. If we could have said we simply don't want it, that would not have been enough. Therefore, we petitioned with our over 100 signatures and letters to support our community from relatives, church members, and friends. This cell phone tower will go behind one of the 6 houses, but will be 100% visible from the homes like mine, which would be south, and at least 10 more as soon as you walk out of your front door. From 2121 to 2107, a visual distraction. I am outside a lot. And if I wanted the definition for city manager Carcinigan, I would go online and look up each one believing the definition. So I did the same for cell phone towers. In my findings, they are as follows, taken from Environmental Health Trust. Environmental Health Trust says, health effects on cell towers near homes and schools. Did you notice that it did not say at the workplace, where there are only 1 up to 8 hours a day? Cell phone towers can catch a fire, and they contain hazardous material. Regulatory safety limits are not protective. The science confirms harmful biological effects at levels that FCC and ICNI-RFP would consider safe. In fact, the majority of studies on critical endpoints, such as genetic and neurological damage, shows effects. And I have 11 more environmental organizations that agree to that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank Joyce. I understand what she means now, but yeah, the tower itself wasn't 200 feet, but the wording could be construed that way very easily. So thank you, Ms. Joyce. Appreciate it.
Cool. Was there anybody else that was going to speak? Did you want any kind of rebuttal or?
Thank you. And again, I did speak with Ms. Carter, and we did look at the other properties that she had suggested. And again, I think it does help, hopefully, that the tower, I thought it would be helpful maybe to just turn to tab 2 of the binders. And this is our, the site plan. Tried to kind of make it obvious where the tower's going. There's a significant, point being, there's a significant tree line. Yeah, it's being tucked in that little tree line. And again, you've got all this vegetation, and then you also have the Duke Energy easement to the south of that. So that's in kind of running along adjacent to the backyard property lines of the neighborhood. So the tower is beyond that, to the north, in that yellow, general, yeah, right there. So again, we find this an appropriate location. It's not in anybody's backyard. It's in the backyard of an industrial. It's in the backyard of an industrial property. And we do respectfully request your approval. And again, the FCC safety standards will be met. The city's standards will be met. The city's code has prescribed height and setback and other siting standards and safeguards for these towers. Those are all met. So we find this worthy of approval, and we respectfully request that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That's Tally Box Road.
Right, so the house is over here.
Yeah. The house is over here.
Okay.
That's Tally Box. Tally's up here.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, we'll close to the public for discussion and render decision. John, that's your cue. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Dan a question.
Mhm.
When the resident came to you guys with the concerns about the tower and stuff, did we give them the explanation? I know it can't be denied or considered because of that, but just something to ease their mind in regards to that. I did a little research while they were speaking, and I think there is, and Jennifer told me if I can go forward with this, even though it can't be part of that, I just wanted to be for a public record that the frequency that actual tower emits is not radioactive. They actually put out a radio type frequency. So I just that was a little bit of, like Google University. But I just didn't know, did we discuss that with them or lead them, or are we obligated to do that? No.
It's outside of our purview for this.
So we've been on them, not us.
That's
Okay.
right. But basically, you can check when the federal law went into place, and they have staff reports, and they have their analysis, and that's part of the reason that Congress decided to enact this law, was because they found their findings decided they warranted to put this preemption on the state and local government so that the wireless communication towers would be able to be developed without those concerns.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Is this, I know this is public, is this available to the residents that they can have, they can get that same information?
This is public record, so if they made a public records request to the city, then they can absolutely get this information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or discussion?
Mr. Miller,
Yes, sir.
one more time.
Yes, sir.
So how far is this tower from that nearest resident?
I measured about 500 feet from, and it was on the GIS system in the city's computer. So this is an estimate because
Right.
you can't get it to that perfect like surveyor.
Understood.
Where it says site location to that dot, yes, sir.
Right.
And then go straight down to the nearest, the closest measurement I got was about 500 feet. Now, and then about 150 feet, if I remember correctly, back to the east to the property line. So, now, I personally live close, almost that close to a tower. I personally do, and you can take what you want from that. But,
I'm gonna leave it that alone.
That explains a lot.
I'll say that for after the meeting.
Explains an awful lot.
I know, all I can do is make a recommendation based on the code and the comp plan here. I know nothing about radio waves.
Yes, sir.
And I,
Well, we're
makes
not
me
gonna,
wanna
we're not
learn
gonna
now.
discuss that anymore.
Right.
Yes, sir. Because we need a tower.
Yeah, it's strictly the distance. All right, any other discussion or questions?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'm just trying to focus, put it in my head, from live stream to where this tower is.
Live Street is north.
Yeah.
See where that white building is? Real white? Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's tally box that goes like that beside it.
Kind of in that.
Yeah.
In that new road, like with the satellite, the window place here or something like that, the satellite. Well, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, there was a tower taken down a few years ago that was on Griffin, past the electric department, on the right behind the DOT yard.
Yeah, that was Jack Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that was?
That's why I said we should have Jack stay.
Oh, okay.
It was back there.
I remember when that one came down because the storm damaged it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many years it was up.
Oh, forever.
It was up there a long
He
time.
supplied all the radios for the fire department and
Okay,
police
okay.
department for
Yes.
cell phones.
But,
Okay, I will accept the motion one way or the other.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
On case number CUP 25465, I recommend approval.
I second.
There's a second. Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall.
Yes.
Chairman Senate.
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders.
No.
Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox.
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, public hearing case number SSCP 25451, Bar Key 2, Grace Grove, Small Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. And then number 5, public hearing, excuse me, public hearing case number PUD 25452, Bar Key 2, Grace Groves, Plan Unit Development.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a request for annexation, small-scale comp plan, and rezoning. The property itself consists of 39.9 plus or minus acreage generally located north of East Dewey Robbins Road and east of Dewey Robbins Road. Project, as you will see on the maps, is surrounded by the existing Bar Key Grace Groves project, and it's going to be integrated into that project. The property was not under contract at the time the Bar Key project came through this commission and the city commission. So the applicant was able to procure that property, and it's now being filled and integrated into the Bar Key project. We just had to annex it because it kind of left a donut out there. The future land use request is going from Lake County Rural to City of Leesburg Estate. The zoning from Lake County A Agriculture to City PUD Plan Unit Development. Again, the site is 39.9, give or take, undeveloped acres. The request would be for future development of 156 single-family units, and by integrating this property into the existing Bar Key project, it does not add to the overall number of units or density in the Bar Key project. Deputy Director Candy
So
Harper.
what we already approved is what will stand, it's just.
Is that still correct? Yes.
Okay.
What you approved of the
Sorry.
1,700 units, this becomes a part of that, so it's not adding, but it is filling in a gap
Right.
that they intended to from the beginning, but because of negotiations on the property, they were unable to at that time. So Candy will present our maps and photo exhibits at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So we're not echoing anymore. This is good. The extended area on the screen before you shows a larger area The property is south of Dewey Robbins and it is east of US 27. The aerial shows you a little bit closer view. You don't see any development out there quite yet, but it's coming. Future land use shows what the original piece of Barkey went through. It was the estate residential surrounding it to the north, southeast, and west. Large part of it is Barkey. Lake County future land use shows it as rural. And the proposed future land use is estate residential, as is Barkey that was previously approved. The surrounding zoning is City of Leesburg planned unit development.
Somebody's alarm's going off. Oh, is it outside? Sorry.
It is Hodges to the east. I can't remember the one to the north, Dan. But it is surrounded by Barkey all the way around it, and it will be incorporated into Barkey. The proposed zoning is planned unit development. Surrounding land uses at the moment are to the north residential and timber, to the east timber. Also to the north is pasture improved. It's a hayfield, as is the south. Surrounding developments map shows you what's in the area and that this is simply filling in that area. There is no water on this particular piece of property. It's free and clear. Shallow marsh wetlands are present to the south. It does lie in Commission District 3. And the pictures on the top of the screen is a close-up of the sign posting on the property from Dewey Robbins Road. Picture 2 on the bottom is looking north across Dewey Robbins Road from the subject property. Picture on the top is looking east along Dewey Robbins Road from the subject property, and the picture on the bottom is looking south onto the subject property from Dewey Robbins Road. And the picture on the top of your screen is looking west along Dewey Robbins Road from the subject property. And that is all I have, Mr. Miller.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harper. We'll move on to the departmental review summary. As stated previously, the project was sent out to all the city departments plus Lake County government and the school board. There were no substantive comments back from the city departments. The school board did not send comments back on this one. However, we know that the project will be subject to school concurrency review. That includes a review by the school board staff to see if adequate stations are present, and if they are not, it would be subject to a mitigation agreement, which is an agreement for the applicant to provide adequate school stations. And we have sent a number of those to the city commission over the past couple of years. Lake County Public Works had no comments, and we did send it out by the code requirements for advertising, posting, and letters. I do not believe we received anything. That we didn't get anything back on this one, did we? I have nothing in my notes for that. Under the PUD requirements, the proposal would have 156 single-family residential units, 2-floor maximum height. This is a platted subdivision. It's just like the rest of Barkey. No other uses in the proposal. There are design and architectural standards, dark sky lighting, significant buffering again, except for areas that are directly bounded by Barkey, so that there's no actual boundary there, buffer there. All landscape buffers, again, are not part of the lots, but they are separate and must be maintained. Bahia and Bermuda grass are okay. Again, St. Augustine is not anymore because it's a water hog. The signage will consist of decorative entry features if they desire signage on that. There is a requirement for 3/4 of an acre, because this is a smaller one, the 3/4 of an acre devoted for separate recreation. And finally, the standard phasing clause. Everything else, though, matches up to the Barkey development that you have previously reviewed and approved.
So the phase will be whatever the old.
It'll work
with the Barkey PUD. It'd be basically an integral part of it. It's a separate PUD just so it would be faster and easier to go through.
Right.
On the small-scale comp plan for the recommendations, if I may, Mr. Chairman, case number, small-scale comp plan, SSCP 25451, Planning and Zoning Department recommends approval of the request for the following reasons. One, the project meets the requirements of Chapter 163 Florida statutes for small-scale comp plan amendments. Two, the proposed request is compatible with the adjacent future land use designations of Lake County Urban Low Density and City of Leesburg Estate Residential. Three, the proposed request is compatible with the proposed zoning of PUD Plan Unit Development as conditioned. And four, the proposed future land use designation for the site is consistent with the city's growth management plan, future land use element goal 1, objective 1.2, policy 1.2.4, and objective 1.6, and the action requested is to approve the small-scale comp plan amendment from Lake County Rural to City of Leesburg Estate Residential and forward that recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. Under the rezoning request, which is case number PUD 25452, Planning and Zoning Department recommends approval of for the following reasons. The proposed request is compatible with the surrounding zonings. The proposed zoning is compatible with the proposed future land use designations. The site is located directly adjacent to future access and city utilities through the previously approved Barkey development. And the proposed request does not appear to create a detriment to surrounding properties as conditioned. The action requested is vote to approve the proposed zoning from Lake County A Agriculture to PUD Plan Unit Development as conditioned and forward this recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Any questions of staff?
Ms. Cindy Terrapini of Terrapini Planning Strategies is here to represent the case. I'm sorry I meant to say that.
State your name and your address, please.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Cindy Terrapini, Terrapini Planning Strategies. I'm located in Tarpon Springs at 128 East Tarpon Avenue in Tarpon Springs, Florida. And I previously represented Barkey 1, which that's how we're distinguishing the original larger property as Barkey 1. We're not making or requesting any changes to Barkey 1 tonight, only to what we're calling Barkey 2, the smaller 39-acre site. If we could go, can we go to my PowerPoint, please? I do represent Brookfield Coulter Land Partners, who is the contract purchaser of this 39-acre parcel. And if it's all right with you, I'd like to make all my comments on both cases together. And I certainly understand your staff did that, so if you're all right, I will do that as well.
Sure.
With me today is Eric Morissette, who's the Vice President for Brookfield Coulter, also the project's civil engineer, Brett Tobias, and the project's traffic engineer, Iman Saidi. We also have a landscape architect and environmental services that are not here tonight, but they are working on the project as well. Next, please. Coulter was founded in 1997. They're building communities in 5 southeast states from here all the way to Tennessee. They have over 100 active projects. They recently did a project in Lady Lake. It's under development. If we could see the next, please. Just to give you an idea of the size and the scope of that project and to demonstrate that Coulter Brookfield definitely has the financial capability and the strength to be able to manage both Barkey 1 and this new project as well. I also want to point out that Brookfield Coulter has entered into a pioneering agreement with the City of Leesburg, the City Commission. There are quite a few projects, as y'all recognize, along the US 27 corridor, but there's no sewer line to serve those projects. So Brookfield Coulter has stepped up and is fronting the construction cost of that sewer line from where it terminated. The city has designed it and permitted it, but Coulter will actually construct the line all the way down to south to Barkey. In any of the projects along US 27 that wish to tap in, then will be able to have service. Otherwise, there would not have been any service to this project. It's a significant multi-million-dollar investment by Coulter to do that improvement. They do get reimbursed over time as other projects hook into that. Let's see, this is just to give you the location map. So you can see that the site highlighted in yellow, what we're calling again Barkey 2, completely surrounded by Barkey 1. It's kind of the hole in the middle of the donut. It just wasn't available at the time that Barkey 1 came through, but now we are asking for you to review this today. Next, please. This is the Barkey 1 master plan that you all approved. You can see on the west side or the left side of your map, there was a commercial component and the major entrance. And then there are 14 villages grouped around a lake in the center, an amenity center on the lake, and a loop road, and that's kind of a really important feature that's shown on this plan that goes around the entire project, connects all the villages, and allows people to exit either Dewey Robbins or US 27, or to go to that commercial without having to exit those two roads, but then when they are ready to exit and go to work or to school, they can do so. You can see the square on the upper right-hand side, that's Barkey 1 that we're talking about, Barkey 2 that we're talking about today. Next, please. So here's the master plan for Barkey 2. The arrows are showing you that the little yellow piece that's to the west of Barkey 2 in the original project, we're going to redesign those access roads so people will be able to come through the small piece that you see there and access the loop road. There will be, and then that loop road again, that's the loop road we were talking about that serves and functions the entire area. This site, and it was a little easier to see on the earlier plan, but just to reinforce, it has absolutely no road frontage at all. So there is nowhere for them to go except through Barkey 2. So it's Barkey 1, so this is obviously the best choice for this project to connect. There is a proposed construction and emergency access easement that would go along the east side of the property up to Dewey Robbins Road if needed. Next, please. Again, it's 39 acres. There's no road frontage. The maximum development will be 156 single-family lots. That same single-family lots is located immediately to the west and to the south. So in the original Barkey, so we think it's a good fit. Next, please. Again, just to emphasize, the loop road you can see on the far right, now Barkey 2 has been incorporated, and it will be in phase 2 of Barkey, the whole overall Barkey project. Next, please. Again, just to show how Barkey 2 fits into the balance of the site, you can see how the lots have been laid out in the balance of the project, and actually phase 1 of Barkey has been approved by the city, and they should be starting construction in the very near future. Next, please. This is just a highlight. There's very little wetlands on the site. It's that little blue circle you see on the very southern edge of the site. It's about less than an acre, 0.8 of an acre. So it will be managed through the St. John's Water Management District process and determined. We do have 3 applications of voluntary annexation, which is not before you today, will be before the commission. Our plan amendment to the city's estate residential category, then the rezoning to the PUD district for 156 units, and the conditions that are attached to it. Next, please. Just to show that all of the property around the Barkey 2 site is estate residential. It's the same plan category we're asking for, exact same density, so it's obviously just very consistent with that. Next, please. We just highlighted a few of the comp plan categories that your staff has also highlighted to show how it's consistent with the comp plan for this project. Next, please. One wonderful feature of both the original Barkey and this one is on the 45-foot lots that they will have. They, of course, will have a 2-car garage and a 2-car spaces in their driveway. But when you have visitors or you have family or you have a party, you want to be sure that those spaces are accommodated for and people can park safely. So at the end of each block, there will be parking, on-street parking. That does a couple things. It provides that overflow parking, plus it slows everything down. So we think it's a really good solution, and that is one of the conditions in the approval. Next, please. Just to give you an idea of the style and type of units that are proposed, these are the same architectural elevations that are proposed for Barkey 1, so it'll be a seamless transition between the 2 projects. There are 4 different elevations proposed in there, ranging from 1,500 square feet to a 2,400 square feet product, both 1- and 2-story, as you can see. We believe that adding this 39 acres into the Barkey 1 project to make those 2 projects a seamless addition is a good project. We believe it's consistent with the comp plan, complies with your land development code. We've negotiated conditions with your staff that we believe are reasonable, and they were very fair and very straightforward in dealing with us and managing those conditions. We think they're a perfect match for the project. And the other thing I would just add about a master plan and the PUD zoning, and you guys know this from dealing with it, it's a what you see is what you get. Once this is approved, if it is approved, any significant changes have to go back to the city. So it's like an insurance policy or a guarantee, both for the city and for anybody who buys in there and for residents nearby. They can look up that master plan and see exactly what's going to be proposed in the village next to them, know about the commercial, see the loop road, see the driveway on Dewey Robbins, and all of that is cast basically in stone unless you come back through this entire process to make changes. So we think that's a significant value to the city and to the developer. We respectfully request your approval. I'm happy to answer any questions, and our other consultants are here too if you have some technical questions, because I just don't do math. So I'll offer them up if there's any questions in that way. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. Any questions of the applicant and guest?
No. I've got a quick, did we say there was no additional total
There are no,
number of homes?
there's no changes whatsoever in Barkey 1. It was originally approved for 1,700 units and a commercial component and an institutional school component. None of that changes. The new site will have 156 units. So there are more units in the overall
Okay.
project, but nothing whatsoever changes in Barkey 1, the original
Yeah,
project.
That was my question, thank you.
Thank you.
I thought the same thing. No questions? Is there anybody here to speak for or against? That's going to be a quickie. Maybe. All right, we'll close to the public and for discussion and render a decision, if I can say that. Any discussion?
No, sir.
Any decision?
Yes, sir.
I like your respect, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve SSCP-25451.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any discussion on the motion? Roll call?
Commissioner Sanders.
Got
Yes.
you off guard.
Commissioner Bowers-House.
Yes.
Chairman Senate.
Yes.
Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
Is there any water over
Commissioner
there?
Marshall.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Kelly.
Yes.
I didn't drink out of it, I just poured it into my glass.
Thank you. Public hearing case number PUD 25-452, Barkey 2, Grace Groves Planned Unit Development. Is there a motion for that one? Or any discussion on it first? Okay. Is there
Mr.
a motion?
Chairman, on SSCP 25452, recommend approval.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Marshall.
Thank you for the water.
Yes.
Commissioner Carter.
Yes.
Chairman Senate.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowers-House.
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Yes.
And you know the dates and everything? May 12th and June 23rd.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate your time today.
And double check just in case something comes up. And
Yes, sir, I will.
Okey dokey. All right, new business. Public hearing case number CUP 25-502, Euclid Cottages, 408 Euclid Avenue, conditional use permit.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under the background of this case, this is a request for a conditional use permit to allow for a new duplex construction at 408 Euclid Avenue. The location is just south of Lilly Street, and it's on the east side of Euclid Avenue. Project's located in an R2 medium-density residential zoning and a low-density future land use. Whenever a duplex is requested and the project is located in a low-density future land use, the comp plan requires us to move forward with a conditional use permit, so that's why this is here. This case is on the agenda tonight. There was an existing home at this location, which I believe is 408 Euclid Avenue, till maybe 3 years ago, I forget the exact timing, and it did burn down. There was an accident of some type, and so it burned down, and so it was ultimately demolished. We were requested to review these options, and staff does deem this to be a good location for a duplex-style development. It's a good lot. It's 70 feet wide with enough room to support the request. The project has gone through the historic board. Whenever we can, we try to take it to the historic board first.
And it went through the historic board just fine. There are examples of the proposed architecture in your packets, and Candy Harper, Deputy Director, can show us the maps and photo exhibits.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. The map before you is an extended aerial showing you the larger area where this property sits. It is south of West Magnolia Street and north of West Dixie Avenue. This aerial shows you a little bit closer up. It shows the subject property is south of Lily Street and east of Euclid Avenue. The future land use of the property is low-density residential, and surrounding is low-density residential to the north, east, south, and west, with general commercial to the north. City zoning surrounding the property is R2 medium density, and the property is R2 medium density. That is to the north, east, south, and west, and there is also R1 zoning that lies adjacent to it to the southwest. The proposed, this property shows clearly what is the proposed conditional use site. Surrounding land uses to the north and south are vacant, single-family and multifamily residential. To the east, single-family and multifamily residential. To the west, vacant and single-family residential. The next map I have is flood and wetlands. The flood zone and wetlands map shows that there are no flood zones or wetlands on the subject property. And now I have CRA. This property does lie south of the greater Leesburg Community Redevelopment Area. And it does lie in Commission District 4. And the picture on the top shows a close-up of the sign posting on Euclid Avenue. Picture on the bottom shows looking north along Euclid Avenue from the subject property. Photo at the top of your screen, top photo shows looking east from Euclid Avenue into the subject property, and the picture on the bottom shows looking south along Euclid Avenue from the subject property. And this picture shows looking west across Euclid Avenue from the subject property. And that is all I have, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Ms. Harper. Under the departmental review summary, as you all know, this project was sent out to all the city departments, Lake County Government and School Board. There were no substantive comments back from the city departments. The school board stated that a duplex is exempt from review. Basically, it's 4 units or less. They will exempt the review. Lake County Public Works had no comment, and we did not receive any comments from the general public on this one. Based on that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to read the recommendation, which is for Euclid Cottages, 408 Euclid Avenue. Case number CUP 25502, Planning and Zoning Department is recommending approval of the request for the following reasons. 1, the conditional use permit is required for the proposed use. 2, the request meets the criteria set forth in sections 25-141 and 25-284 district use regulations of the City of Leesburg Code of Ordinances. 3, subject to the conditions listed below, the conditional use does not appear to create a detrimental impact on the surrounding properties. And 4, the request does not create a negative impact or an inconsistency with the City of Leesburg comprehensive plan. Under the conditions is very standard. It's a conditional use permit to allow for 1 duplex unit, meaning 2 homes, two units in 1 building. Conditional use permit is subject to all other City of Leesburg code requirements, and they're not exempted from any other applicable regulations of the City of Leesburg and other governmental agencies. The action requested is to approve the conditional use permit for the subject property and allow for the development of this 1 duplex unit. And Mr. Ross Halley is here, who is the applicant, and we've been working with him on this project and through the historic board as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? Thank you. Anything you want to add, or state your name and your address?
Good evening, I'm Ross Halley. It's nice to meet you all here this evening. And
Your address too, please.
my address is 13205 Sharswood Circle, Orlando, Florida, 32828. And the only thing I'd add is, I have a passion for infill development, and I think we need a more affordable workforce housing. And I think the opportunity on this particular site and its walkability and other amenities and educational opportunities create a great opportunity to sell to affordable workforce units. And the goal is for them to be for sale. I don't want to own them. I don't want to rent them. I want to turn them over to families to live in them.
I like the elevations. Nice looking.
Yeah, the elevations are dynamite.
Any questions of applicant?
No, sir.
Anybody to speak for or against? We'll close the public for discussion and render a decision. And Dan's.
I'd like to make a motion to approve CUP 25502.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner O'Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall.
Yes.
Chairman Senate.
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders.
Yes.
Commissioner Carter. Yes. Commissioner Bowersox.
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Okey dokey. Happy bill. Public hearing case number CUP 25505, Gulfstream Corey Island Tower, conditional use permit. I'm glad you separated those.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a request for a conditional use permit to allow for a new communications tower in the C2 and C3 commercial zoning districts for property located south of Armoyan Boulevard and west of U.S. Highway on approximately 8.63 plus or minus acres of land. A conditional use permit is required when a tower is constructed, as we found out earlier this evening. There is a concept plan for the location and design of the tower located in Exhibits B and C in your packet. Candy Harper, Deputy Director, will present the maps and photo exhibits at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. The map before you is an extended aerial, and it shows you where the property is located on South US 27, west of US 27, and south of Ormoyan Boulevard. The close-up shows you the property is treed, and again, it's south of Armoyan and west of US Highway 27. The next map I have is the zoning map. Shows the subject property as both C2 community commercial and C3 highway commercial, and the surrounding is planned unit development and public to the north. Lake County zoning shows to the north there is C1 neighborhood commercial, C2 community commercial, and R6 urban residential. To the south is agriculture, R6 urban residential, planned unit development, RM, which is mixed home residential, and mobile home rental park. The future land use shows the subject property as general commercial. It is surrounded by institutional and general commercial to the north, with general commercial and neighborhood mixed use to the east and neighborhood mixed use to the west. Lake County future land use to the south is urban medium density. To the southwest is urban low density. And to the north is urban medium density, and northeast is urban low density. Surrounding land uses to the north, vacant and single-family residential and vacant commercial. To the south is vacant and single-family residential, mobile home and mobile home park. To the east is commercial and vacant commercial, single-family residential, and mini warehouse. And to the west, non-agricultural acreage and residential. Next map I have is proposed conditional use. And this does show the site where the tower will be located for this conditional use permit. Next map I have is flood zone and wetlands. The flood zone and wetland map shows that there is flood zone AE across the majority of the property, as well as wetlands. Next map I have is community redevelopment area, and it does lie within the US 27441 community redevelopment area, and it does lie in Commission District 2. The top photo shows a close-up of the sign from US 27. This is where we posted the property. Picture on the bottom is looking north along US 27 from the subject property. The picture on the top is taken from the subject property across US 27. And the bottom photo shows looking across South US 27 from the subject property. And this photo shows looking west into or onto the subject property from US 27. That is all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harper. Moving on to the departmental review summary. Project was sent out to all the city government departments and Lake County government and school boards. There were no substantive comments from the city departments. The school board had no comment because this is not a residential project. Lake County Public Works had no comment. Under public responses per Florida statute and City of Leesburg Code of Ordinances, notice was sent out, legally advertised, posted, letter sent out to the surrounding property owners. Again, we received no comments on this request. So as seen on Exhibit B of the conditional use permit packet, the tower itself is proposed as a monopole for 198 feet tall, so it's about roughly 50 feet taller than the previous tower we saw. And under the recommendation for the Gulfstream Corley Island Tower, case number CUP 25-505, Planning and Zoning Department is recommending approval of the request for the following reasons. One, a conditional use permit is required for the proposed use under Chapter 25-284, City of Leesburg Code of Ordinances. Two, the request meets the criteria set in Section 25-141 conditional uses and Section 25-284 district use regulations of the City of Leesburg Code of Ordinances. Three, subject to the conditions listed below, the proposed conditional use does not appear to create a detrimental impact on the surrounding properties. Four, the request does not create a negative impact or an inconsistency with the City of Leesburg Comprehensive Plan. The following conditions are included. And the first one is granted to the permittee for the development of 198-foot wireless monopole communications tower in a C2 zoning district. Two, the conditional use permit is subject to all other City of Leesburg code requirements, including zoning and building code regulations as amended. And three, the granting of this CUP does not exempt the applicant from other applicable regulations of the City of Leesburg and all other government and agency regulations, including the impact fees, et cetera. And finally, the action requested is vote to approve the conditional use permit for the subject property to allow for the development of the 198-foot wireless monopole communications tower. That's all for staff right now, and we do have a representative to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Solik? Did I say that right?
Good evening,
Good
Mary
for me.
Solik, 121 South Orange Avenue, Suite 1500, Orlando, Florida. I'm legal counsel for Gulfstream Towers, and with me is Mike Burkhead, who's the principal of Gulfstream Towers. Your staff's done a thorough job of explaining the project to you. Do you have any questions for me? Any issues? I don't know if you're here to speak on that.
No,
I
he's our alternate.
Oh, okay. Again, if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. You've had a long day. I don't want to keep you here any longer.
Thank you.
I was enjoying the music. I didn't even notice. I didn't notice anybody talking. Sorry. Don't put that. Okay, thank you. I don't guess there's anybody to speak for or against. All right.
Wonderful.
We'll close to the public and for discussion and render a decision.
I got a question for staff.
Okay.
Is this maybe I missed it, but in the wetlands map, is this tower going in the wetlands or?
Looks like it's just east of it.
Can I answer that? It's just east of it. We don't like to.
If there were any development in the wetlands, Commissioner Marshall, they would have to mitigate, and the mitigation would be so expensive that it wouldn't be worth it.
It's set back 217 feet from the eastern property line, and that moves it back just to the edge of the wetlands, and then still preserves enough of the upland area on this commercial property for future development.
And if it falls, it's not going to hit anything.
That correct?
All
But they-
towers in Leesburg have a 100% fall radius unless they are engineered to collapse from the top, which that's new engineering, which we have brought before this commission in the past. But yes, they all have to have that radius, fall radius.
Cool. Any other questions? Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve CUP 25-505.
Good job, John. I'll second that motion.
Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bowersox?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders?
Yes.
Chairman Senate?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter? Yes. Commissioner O'Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan?
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Happy Tower. All right, we have three under the same property, so I'll read them all three. 3, 4, and 5 are public hearing case number SSCP 25-1208, Ritchie Road Storage, Small Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment. And new business 4 is public hearing case number RZ 25-1209, Ritchie Road Storage Rezoning. And number 5 under new business is public hearing case number PUD 24-1210, Ritchie Road Storage, PDO Planned Development Overlay.
Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I quit.
This project, again, there's an annexation which will go to the city commission, so that one's not here. But then there's also the small scale comp plan, the zoning, and then a PDO, Plan Development Overlay. So those are the three cases that are being brought before you this evening. Property consists of .81 acres, generally located west of Ritchie Road and south of West Main Street. Future land use would go from, after the annexation, under the small-scale comp plan, the future land use would go from Lake County urban medium to City of Leesburg general commercial, and the zoning would go from Lake County R6 to City of Leesburg C3, which is general commercial. Again, the site is currently just a small spot of just over 3/4 of an acre that is undeveloped. The request is to have the property annexed and to use for open storage such as RVs and boats and something like that. It's behind a building, and, oh, yeah, see, it says Candy Harper here, Deputy Director, will present the maps and photos.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
It's been a long day.
Please don't pause on my paycheck in that fashion.
Yeah, there will be a deduction.
The extended locator is on the screen before you, so you can see the larger area. It is south of West Main Street, and it is west of Ritchie Road. And this aerial shows you a little more detail around the subject property. The future land use map shows general commercial to the north as well as industrial further north and to the west. Lake County future land use on the site is urban medium density. And the proposed future land use is City of Leesburg general commercial. The zoning on the property is proposed to be proposed zoning is to be C3 commercial. The next map I have is Lake County zoning. The current Lake County zoning is R6 and is surrounded by R6, urban residential to the southeast, to the south and east, C2 commercial, and planned commercial to the northeast. Surrounding land uses, commercial to the north, warehouse to the north, office to the east, residential to the east, improved pasture to the south, residential to the south, and commercial pretty much covering the west side of the property. And the flood zone.
It's like a swimming pool.
Flood zone is north of the property. As a matter of fact, this is like a spillway out there, so it's pretty wet, but not on this site. Wetlands do not exist on the site. It does lie adjacent to Commission District 2.
Right here.
And the picture on the top shows us posting the sign, and I want you to pay attention to the fence to the rear. And it wraps around the property, I believe, to the south. So there is a fence there already. And the picture on the bottom of your screen is looking north along Ritchie Road. Picture on the top of your screen is looking east across Ritchie Road. And the picture on the bottom is looking south along Ritchie Road. And then I did a blow up, I guess I pulled out from it a little bit to catch that fence line so that you could see that there is a fence already established on part of this property. And that's all I have, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Ms. Harper. Under the departmental review summary, the project was sent out to all the city departments, plus Lake County government. There were no substantive comments from the city departments. The school board stated it's a commercial project, so they would have no comments. And Lake County Public Works had no comments on this. We did receive one response from the public, from the neighbor, and basically he just wanted to ensure that there would be a large fence along the property line, which we have in the PUD. And under the PDO requirements, it's basically an annexation comp plan, general commercial zoning, and a PDO. So you end up with the C3 zoning requirements, C3 commercial uses, in which we're adding outdoor storage to allow the vehicles. Because it's behind a building and then it faces a field and it has a fence, staff believes it works out just fine. There is a requirement for a minimum 6-foot fence around the property. An 8-foot fence is also permitted as the maximum height. And I guess I have to read these. Sorry. Chairman, I forgot I had those to go. So for the small-scale comp plan, case number 25-1208, Planning and Zoning Department is recommending approval of the request for the following reasons. The project meets the requirements of Chapter 163 Florida statutes for small-scale comp plan amendments. 2, the proposed request is compatible with the adjacent future land use designation of Lake County urban medium density and City of Leesburg general commercial. 3, the proposed request is compatible with the proposed zoning of C3 highway commercial as conditioned in the associated PDO document. 4, the proposed future land use designation for the site is consistent with the city's growth management plan, future land use element, goal 1, objective 1.6 and 1.8. And the action requested is vote to approve the small scale comp plan and send it forward to the city commission for their decision. On the rezoning case, case number RZ 25, let's see, it's showing 25-1209. I'm not sure that's the correct number. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, 25-1209. Planning and Zoning Department is recommending approval of the request for the following reasons. Again, the proposed request for this zoning is compatible with the current surrounding zoning districts, including Lake County R6 and City of Leesburg C3 and CIP. 2, the proposed zoning is compatible with the proposed future land use designation amendment to city general commercial.
and the current surrounding future land use designations, including Lake County Urban Medium Density and City of Leesburg General Commercial. 3, the site is an extension of the existing business on the parcel directly north of the subject property. 4, the project, the proposed request does not appear to create a detriment to surrounding properties as conditioned in the PDO document and based on proximity to compatible development. And the action requested is vote to approve the proposed rezoning from Lake County R6 Urban Residential District to City C3 Highway Commercial and forward this recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. And finally, Planning and Zoning recommendation for case number PUD 251210. Planning and Zoning Department recommends approval for the following reasons. 1, the proposed request on the subject property for the addition of a planned development overlay is compatible with the proposed zoning district of C3 Highway Commercial and the surrounding zoning districts in Lake County and Leesburg. 2, the proposed future land use designation of City General Commercial is compatible with the proposed request for the addition of a planned development overlay and with the current surrounding future land use designations, including Lake County Urban Medium and City of Leesburg General Commercial. And 3, the addition of the proposed PDO will allow for outdoor storage uses compatible with the surrounding land uses of the surrounding properties as conditioned. And 4, the proposed request does not appear to create a detriment to surrounding properties as conditioned and is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. The action requested is vote to approve the addition of a planned development overlay on a C3 highway commercial zoning and forward this recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I have a question of the applicant. Sorry. I've been sitting there thinking about that the whole time.
Yeah, Ken, what do you got to say, Ken?
Yeah. Any questions of staff?
No, sir.
That guy's pretty brave to do that. I don't have that much guts. All right, we'll close to the public. Sorry. New business number 3, public hearing case number SSCP 25-1208, Ritchie Road Storage, small scale comprehensive plan amendment. We have any discussion or motion on that?
I move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Marshall?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter? Yes. Chairman Senate?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan?
Yes.
New business number 4, public hearing case number RZ, sounds like a motorcycle, 25-1209, Ritchie Road, storage rezoning. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner O'Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan?
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox?
Yes.
Chairman Senate?
Yes.
Commissioner Carter? Yes.
All right. New business number 5, public hearing case PUD 24-1210, Ritchie Road Storage, PDO, Plan Development Overlay.
You said that so well. I move for approval.
I second it.
I'm glad it's the last one.
That's why I don't have to repeat it.
It was seconded, I'm sorry.
It was second.
I'm slap happy. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Carter? Yes. Commissioner Sanders?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox?
Yes.
Chairman Senate?
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall?
Yes.
Do you want this?
Commissioner O'Kelly?
Yes.
You have
Commissioner Kaplan?
You forgot Commissioner Simeon?
Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Next time, bring pizza.
If I'd have known it was going this long, I would have. Of course, I can't eat it. But,
We hope everyone enjoys Bike Fest. Starts
Right
now.
now.
Yeah.
Start now.
Starts 2
Are
hours
y'all, are y'all
ago.
closed tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
I will be
This building and my
Okay.
building, the further out departments they still have to work.
Okay.
So,
You guys come by and see me. I'll be at the big Budweiser bar.
All right.
I'm
The where?
hosting that one.
Is that the-
Budweiser bar, the one on Canal.
By the park?
and
Oh,
Main.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
So
come
come
by
on
and
down
see
and see me.
All right.
All right, buddy.
All right, thanks, everybody. We're out of here.